What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider, and I am back again with Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir? I thought you were about
I
to flip me off. Like, wait, hold on a minute.
Not today. Not today. Not
I was like,
today.
look, let's get into the video a little bit before we start throwing around profanities and obscene gestures and all this other kind of stuff.
Hey, I don't want to get us flagged again. So not today. I am infinitely awesome, sir. Thank you for asking. The real question is, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm about to say we are talking about Invincible, so
Two
things.
wells or just more
Well,
multiple? Well, that's three now.
mm, yeah.
Well.
There you go.
Well. There we go.
But yeah, we are talking about Invincible. So, Invincible pushes the boundaries. I
Yes,
mean,
they do.
they,
Yes, they.
I don't think that there is a line that, well, I will say that you know what? I'm just
It's
gonna,
a thin one, a
just,
very thin one.
because it's yet to be seen if there is a line that they won't cross.
Oh, I'm sure
So,
there's many lines that they won't cross.
but we'll see.
For there's guidelines. That's why
There
we
are
have
guidelines.
ratings,
I mean, it is rated TVMA, so
as it should be.
there are things that fall within that realm that they can still show that they haven't showcased yet.
Like what? We've seen
I don't want to say it because that
blood.
goes into what happens in the comics.
Well, we know they're adapting the comics, and we're
Yes.
seeing it come together. And small deviations as well,
Yes.
because
But this
again,
is
it goes into more detail.
yeah, this is a big plot point that happens in one of the later issues. Um and I don't want to give anything because I don't want to, because this is something that really has nothing to do with what's happening right now. So
Uh
I don't
huh.
want to start sprinkling in information that's
Look at
not
that.
pertaining to
See
where
that?
we are in the show.
Spider loves y'all because we said a long time ago that we don't care about spoiling stuff for y'all because y'all here for us, just like we here for y'all. But see, Spider loves y'all enough to know that he doesn't want to spoil the show for you. I, on the other hand, will probably say something that's going to spoil it for you. Just letting you know that right there's your spoiler warning right there. Who
Yes.
knows what it could be? I don't
You
know.
don't know. Listen,
It could be a movie
I
from
would
20
try to
years ago.
keep things reserved for future because I don't even think that part that I'm thinking about is even going to be touched on in this season, maybe next season.
Well, we're getting to the end of this season
We
real
are getting
soon.
to
We
the end
only
of the
have
season,
it's
and
it's it's it takes so long to get here, and then when it gets here, it's over so quickly.
right, because
But
I have no idea how long after, because what, this is episode 6, so we only have 2 more episodes, and then after that, no idea when season 3 is coming.
yeah, after that, you get our judgment whether it was super or not. That's what
Yes,
happens.
yes.
So you're here for us. If you're looking for an answer whether Invincible is super or not, this is not the episode
This is
for
not
you.
the
This
episode.
is this is the
He's a
episode
superhero.
that you're gonna get us. So we're gonna talk about the show. We're gonna talk about the contents of the show. We're gonna talk about a little show structure or story structure, whichever one you want to put on there for the showrunners or the story writers. And we're gonna say how we feel about it, and we'll let you know at the end of the series or at the end of the season
Mm-hmm.
whether it was super or not. Because we've seen this before. We've seen shows that look like they were gonna be super and just fumble it at the end.
Or even
So
in the middle of the season.
sometimes at the beginning. Let's be honest. It's
Sometimes
just
at the
sometimes
beginning.
sometimes out the gate. It's
Sometimes they
just
just
like
never get off the ground.
you just in your own little dirt road, spinning circles trying to create vortex so you can fly. It doesn't work. You're still on the ground. We still talked about you because we watched you.
The gun goes off, the gates open, the horse trips over its own hooves, and it flips the jockey off upside down. Jockey's got a concussion, and the race is over.
But at the same time, the horse is looking at a turtle. that just walking by and you're wondering where did it all go wrong? It's because the
Right.
turtle's moving slowly because you're like, what happened? And that's some stories that we won't even name right now. There's many of them. That's the whole
Yeah.
reason why we do this show.
Yes. But if you didn't know, this is All Things Super, where every week
If
we
you
take a
don't
piece
know,
of
now you
super powered
know.
movie,
No.
TV shows, even trailers. We watch them, we react to them, we break them down, we review them, and we ask the question, is it super?
Yes.
But we're not going to answer that question today.
No.
But
No.
if
No.
you like that,
I
go
was
ahead.
saying yes, yes. It sounded like I hurt my hand, and
Uh,
yes, I did.
yes.
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 Yeah, DV. That's what I'm talking about. Long
But
time no
if you
see.
like that, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to follow us on social media, just click the link in the description below.
I didn't hurt my hand. I just wanted to throw some guesses out there.
Gotcha.
Invincible is back. Listen, hey, if we're gonna get into this, we're gonna pick up where we left off. And golly,
Oh,
that's
6.
exactly what they did. Because the last time we saw Rex, he was
Now that gunpoint.
held at gunpoint. Now we come back. We're thinking, how is Rex gonna get out of this? He's gonna turn around, do a little spin move.
Throw a little explosive, pick up
He's gonna
something.
turn around, grab the gun, maybe charge it up, blow it up. Yes, right. None of that happened.
No.
None of that happened at all. He got executed
Point blank.
early,
Shot in the head.
early in the episode. Yeah, he had the glizzy, and he just went ham. And then you see King Lizard just go making demands like nothing happened,
But
like
I
he's
like
moving on.
that we start off with that and then we leave. Because even before we get him being on the phone making demands, we see that Rex gets shot, and then we just see him fall, and the blood is just
So much,
just squirt, just squirting,
so much.
just they held that frame for so long to just see the blood just squirting out of his head. I was like, they have to cut away soon, and it was like
No, they
20
got
seconds. It was just
so
squirting.
much blood. Like
But
you
then we
shouldn't be
get back
alive
to,
amount of blood.
yeah, really. But so then we get back to the Martian ship, and so we see what's going on with them with Team Guardians trying to defeat the Sequits. And I appreciate the way that they did that, because for the people who are watching the show and they haven't read the comics and they don't really know what's about to happen, I can only imagine the shock factor.
Mm-hmm.
Because you, like you say, you're thinking, he'll grab the gun, he'll charge it up, he'll do something, some kind of way. He just see his friends get murdered. Of course, he lost his hand, and he's gotta be like enraged, even though he's exhausted, he's beaten down, but he's gonna do something to be able to triumph and overcome this.
Right, because good
Because
guy always win, right? You
right,
got to do
because
something.
they come out on some kind of way, they figure out how to overcome the odds, and they win. But to start this off, and he's just like, oh, fuck you, just shoot me already, just go ahead and
Right,
do it. And then he
right.
does it,
Wasn't
and
expecting that.
you're just like, oh shit, it is Rex dead? And then they cut away, and then you're stuck there, and you have to just sit in it, and you have to live with it until they decide that they want to show you what's happening next. And I think that was brilliant by the storyboard artists and the creators and the directors, everybody that had a hand in the pacing of this episode. I think that was absolutely perfect.
Slow clap.
That is extremely slow.
Oh, so what a delayed reaction. I aim to impress. I'm the best. Infinitely awesome. Now we're making it's so funny that you were talking about the team guardians
Yeah.
coming back to the ship. They get all the squids off of the astronaut. They're making their way back. We got to get out of here because they're charging
Mm-hmm.
so many of them. They can't take over the Martians. So the Martians are like, thank you for saving. Now, how did they know? I guess because they came back with the
With the
astronaut.
astronaut. Well, I would imagine that once they got him off the astronaut, because we get Shapesmith
Uh
creates
huh.
a sort of a dome around Eve and Rudy because Eve passed out, her
Right.
force field went down, so Invincible and Black Samson and Bulletproof and Immortal, they're trying to fight off as many of the squids that they can, but Rudy's exposed. Rudy and Eve are exposed. They have
Yeah.
soft,
He
fleshy
hit
skin. This,
another sonic blast from his suit,
yeah,
but I
and
guess it's out of commission after that, right? Because he never gets back in it.
does he not get back in it when
He
they're on the
does
ship?
not get back in it.
Well, I mean, I guess so because you had to kind of take it apart
Yeah.
to make the sonic grenade. But so he's making his machine, and Eve's passed out, and so he needs a protection. He needs what 5 minutes,
That's what he
and
says.
so
Yeah.
Shape Smith creates a dome around them to protect them because, of course, the sequence can't break through his skin, but it's not flush to the floor. So
No.
he's doing his best to try to protect them, but they're still kind of break through. And he ends up protecting them long enough. All they have to do is get the EMP close to the astronaut
Right.
because he's the one that's controlling them. And
Right.
so Immortal is like, give it to me, I'll do it. And he's getting ready to take it, and Invincible stops him. And remember, at the beginning of season 2, we get the conversation between Immortal and Invincible. Is
Mm-hmm.
like, look, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
You're Omni Man's son. Yes,
He
he may
said
have
that.
beat the dog shit out of you and left you for
Yeah.
dead,
Yeah. This is
but
happening.
you are still part of Viltrumite. Omni
Yeah.
Man killed my friends. I don't like
This is
him.
true.
I don't trust you. So
There
I'm
you
going to be
go.
watching you.
With two eyes. But it's not where you think.
Not you.
Y'all know.
Perfect callback. But so Invincible stops him, and so Immortal's like, "What are you doing?" And we get this statement from Invincible, not as a boast of
Mm-hmm.
ego or anything,
Yeah, it's true.
but really him trying to keep Immortal's ego in check. It's like, look, we both know that I am stronger and faster than you. Let me
That
do
part.
it because these Sequids are pretty
Not
damn
playing.
fast.
Yeah.
They'll take us out.
Not playing.
And so instead of Immortal arguing, he actually relents and be like, okay, I'll cover you. And so they get to the astronaut, they hit the button, and it goes off and knocks all the Sequids off of them. So they're thinking they're in the clear. Lo and behold, some Sequids got a hold of Rudy and Eve.
Dun dun
So they're like, oh shit.
dun.
So we got to see if the EMP got another charge in it. Luckily, it does, but of course, in order to
Yeah,
do it,
it's
you have
very,
to
very, very questionable though,
very
right?
convenient.
Yeah, he's like,
It has
yeah,
enough juice for just one more hit.
just one more. Yeah, that's lazy, right? Nah, I don't know. I don't know if there
You got
was
to get him
another
out.
way out of it.
No,
Yeah,
there really was no other way out of it. I mean, no, there really wasn't, because the only other way you would have been able to do it is just to try to manually rip the Sequids off of them. But of course, you never get close enough to be able to do that. But they were able to grab them and get them close enough together so they could hit it one more time and knock it off of them. And so, yeah, then they were able to go ahead and go to try to escape the ship because, of course, their ship is done for. So they have to find another ship to escape on. The Martians stopped them and they're like, oh, thank you. And I would imagine that they knew because since the Sequids don't have anyone controlling them anymore, they're just kind of all dormant now.
yeah.
So I guess they see it if they're not moving or they're not like aggressive anymore, then they're like, okay, well, they must have succeeded. So they find them, they say, well, thank you, we appreciate you guys coming in and taking care
But
of
we
it,
cannot let you
but we
leave with
cannot
the
let you
trailer.
we cannot let you leave with the traitor. And so Invincible's like, okay, yeah, I get that. So if we leave him with you, that means that his penalty is going to be, and they're like, oh, we're gonna kill
Oh, yeah, death. Yeah,
him. So
immediate, man.
Invincible's
Not even
like,
go.
he's like, okay,
Not
cool,
even
cool, 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 and they just book it.
good comedy trope. Some people
Yeah,
I seen on the internet was upset about that. It's like, no, they didn't. We didn't hear them try to de-escalate the situation. I think at that time there was no time for calmer heads to prevail.
no,
I think it was okay. Let's go.
right,
It's like I'm
exactly,
not even because y'all can stay here with them. We got two people that we care about that we can't let them get exposed to that. Or if that happens again, I ain't got another charge. I ain't got like we don't have the
right.
diplomacy to sit here and have this rationality out. Now, here's the interesting thing. In that chase, because the Martians did chase them,
Mm-hmm.
Invincible said, open the door, let me out. It don't make no sense because if we get this ship destroyed again, we won't
We're
have a
stuck.
way home.
Right.
Yeah. So Eventual steps up, starts taking out the ships. Here's a notation. He immediately starts aggressively taking out the ships.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can tell, as the more ships he takes out, he slowly starts to just disable the ships. Because the first one is like boom.
Yeah.
Then the next one, it was like the engine or the wing. And then, even when the last one he was getting in, I thought he was actually getting in a ship just to take the guy and throw him out. But
Mm-hmm.
he was actually getting back into his own ship and they were leaving because he had already destroyed the ships from chasing.
Yeah.
I just noticed that subtle detail that makes you appreciate Invincible more.
Right.
Because initially, yes, I'm angry because you guys are trying to stop us. You're trying to kill somebody. We're not trying to. This was a rescue mission.
Mm-hmm.
But he slowly, because he doesn't want to be like his father, pulls back. I don't know how
Yes.
many people call it that. He pulls back and starts to just kind of disabling the ships.
Right. I'm not trying to kill you. I'm just trying to stop you from coming after us.
Facts. And that's not to say that they won't come back because we know in the world of Invincible, no one is really
Yeah, if they're not
done.
dead, then
They're not. They're not.
there's a very real possibility that we can see them
So
again.
when will we see them
Yeah, it's
again?
not if, it's when.
I'm looking for the Marla twins because they're alive.
Oh yeah, we
And
absolutely know that they're gonna come back.
and we got a little hints of Angstrom Livius
Yeah,
coming.
we were wondering when he's gonna show his face again, and he's coming back. He had to
I
get
think
dressed.
I think he's dealing with Invincibles in different universes though. It's kind of like how Spot dude was doing across the Spider Verse. He's leveling up.
Ah, yeah. Okay, yeah, I got you.
I don't think he's good because outside of Angstrom Levy being able to teleport through dimensions, he really don't have any powers.
No.
Yeah, that's it. He's a multiversal traveler, but he doesn't like Invincible can punch him in the face and stop all of this.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna spoil it on purpose, but I kind of have an idea of what
What he's been up to.
he's doing,
Yeah.
and it's not looking good for Mark at all.
No.
If he does what I think he's doing,
Mm-hmm.
or well, what I know he's doing.
Yeah.
You know,
I know.
I know you know.
Audience may not know, but
Sips tea.
so we are back on Earth. We're back at the GDA. And so no, before we even get back on Earth, we get back to the nuclear missile plant or the nuclear missile facility. And so we see King Lizard on the phone. He's making his demands and he's saying,
Yeah, he is.
if you don't abide by what I say, I'm going to start launching nukes. Everybody's going to get it.
Said New York, Los Angeles, and
Chicago.
Then for whatever reason he threw Chicago in there. Shout out Chicago. Shout out. But why is he on the list? Like, why is Chicago on your hit list? What do you got against Chicago?
Good question.
Like, there's so many other places you could. New York, L.A. You could have said Vegas. You could have said San Fran. Why
Well, I mean,
Chicago?
LA and San Fran. I mean, you hit LA with a nuke, San Fran is going to get some of it too.
This is just so true.
All of California. I
All
mean,
California,
yeah. I mean,
the
Vegas
West
kind of
Coast.
Vegas kind of falls under that too. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
this
you
is
had to
true.
get West Coast, East Coast, kind of Midwest
And
with
then Central,
Chicago.
yeah. Well, as
I
long as you
mean,
keep it out the South, baby,
yeah,
because we don't play that
the
shit
South
down
is
there. We already
maybe all
got
right.
stuff going on. That's the world domination, and then you want to just destroy half of it just
Right.
to get the attention.
Yeah, because
Let's
we never really said exactly what he wanted, right?
time out, Spider. Where does he think he's gonna go when you threaten like the country at that level
Right.
that you can? Where do you think they just go give you the money and let you just walk off, or you just
Because I mean,
out?
once you leave the facility, all they got to do is just catch you wherever the hell you go.
You not
Because
gonna leave the facility.
yeah, after that, well, I'm just saying that will be a way for them to be able to draw him out so they could apprehend him.
Yeah, exactly. Soon as you step outside,
Yeah, that's it.
I got a shot. Take the
shot.
shot. You're not
Soon
about to
as you
spend
walk
this
out the door.
money.
No.
Unless the best thing you can have in that situation is a teleporter.
Right.
So if you get your money wiredly, they wire it into this account that's gonna go to like 19,000 other accounts before you get it. You
Yeah.
better
You
be like
teleport
Cecil.
yourself out of that building
If you're
and go
Cecil,
somewhere
you're
else.
good. I
Right.
can see Cecil doing this. he
You're
could
like, all
teleport
right,
somewhere
cool.
else.
Yeah. And
You, King Lizard, you ain't think this one through.
no, you got to walk out the front door or whatever tunnel that you crawled out of from. But at some point, you're gonna have to resurface, and the GDA will be there to take you out.
Not even two shot.
But
You should
even
know he shot a man in the head to take power.
right, but
King
even
Lizard.
before he is able to do that, lo and behold, Rex well, he doesn't stand up. He starts
He
to
coughs
cough.
up.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
starts to cough, and he's like, King Liz looking at him like, what the fuck?
exactly.
He's like,
I
apparently
know.
some people don't know to stay dead.
I shot you in the head. What the hell is going on?
And Invincible, I don't know. So Rex gets up and just starts because King Lizard is just shocked, utterly shocked, as
He's
well he should be
zombified. This
because
man coming back from the dead. You ain't seen nothing like this since Saw Part 1. If you saw Saw,
but he's kind of wondering how the hell Rex is even able to survive, much less stand up.
right?
And Rex is just taking a minute. He's like getting his bearings back, and he's just like, "Dude, shut up!"
Bleeding the whole
And
time.
his blood's still squirting out his head.
The whole
But he's
time.
like, "Dude, shut up!" And he just starts. He grabs him and just starts punching the shit out of him
With the storm
with the
hand.
bone.
Oh,
That is
Spider.
basically like punching somebody with a knife in the face.
Spider. I was like, oh, I felt it. I was like, oh my God, it's so brutal.
Because that'd be something if it was like a nub where it's still like skin, and so you still punching him, so it's like blunt force. No, this is a sharp bone.
This is bone. Oh my God.
In the face.
And
Brutal.
we couldn't be happier.
Right.
It's like, get him, Rex. Get him with that stuff.
But so the GDA agents finally come in, and they see Rex standing there. It's like, dude, are you okay? And Rex says, what a weird question to ask. Don't you know I'm, and then the title card, Invincible.
You cannot find better places to throw these title cards, because I'm telling you, you're waiting for it. You know it's coming at some point, but it's right when you forget about it. There it is. We do the same thing.
Do we?
Yeah, we start our show off with conversations, and then next thing you know, we come in with the intro.
That is true.
Told you, they got it from us.
But
we were out before Invincible, sir.
Were we?
That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Invincible just came out.
Well, I mean, season two just came out. Were we out
two
before
seasons
season
ago? Of course, we was out our first show, The Batman.
First show was The Batman. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Listen.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you something else that you probably know. A lot of other shows, podcasts, little theory, whatever you want to call them, piggyback off us too. I noticed their content's gotten kind of long, Spider, and I noticed that they'd stepped away from their formatic structure to a more conversational structure on some of their episodes as well.
Really?
When I saw seeing people start to say that they're infinitely awesome, lawyers will be called. I don't know how many's gonna answer, but I'll call us.
Calls will be made.
Calls will be made. Letters will be typed. I don't know if they're gonna open those emails or they're
Right.
gonna see them at all
But
in the
that doesn't
mail.
mean that
But
we're not going to send them.
there you go. We will send comments will be made. Maybe not necessarily on their page,
Right.
but they will be
But comments will be made. Our voices will be heard. It may just be between us, but it will be
Yeah,
heard.
they may not hear the voices, but they will be said. And we'll know because if they say anything like this, we know they got it from us.
Just show the love. That's all.
That's all.
Just show the
That's
love.
all. It's all love. We love all y'all, even the ones that steal. But you know what happened when you steal? Back in the days, you get your hand chopped off.
And then you punch somebody in the face
You
with it.
punch somebody in the face with that. No! Oh my God. Rex survives, and then they finally decide to call for paramedics and get him to the hospital.
Yeah.
They
And
saved him.
before we leave, we see that Shrinking Ray is still alive. Surprisingly.
Guardians. Yeah, right? She comes skirting out. I guess she went smaller when he was trying to crush her with his neck muscle.
Yeah.
Kimono.
Yeah. I think because it would have been because she was trying to get bigger and
Uh-huh.
then he started to crush her. And then I think that's when after she realized she couldn't break through, then she's went back small because we see that there, of course, has been some damage. And another thing I don't know if you notice is that when they get into the GDA headquarters and they have Shrinking Ray in the tube, whatever they want to call it, like the back to tank, the hyperbaric chamber or whatever she's in. But there's
those are on Amazon.
there's so much more space in the tube. So like when I guess she finally passed out, she didn't like when she came out, she didn't fully regrow. So she's not like her because she's a tall woman, like just normal size. She's tall, like she's just about as tall as some of the men in the Guardians team.
I think she's as tall as Immortal.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
And so, and while she's laying in the chamber, she's a little bit shorter. And so, this is, and we talked about spoilers and everything, but this is something that is happened in the show. So in the comics, Shrinking Ray didn't survive in the comics. Shrinking Ray got eaten by Cottonmouth and just died. So this is a deviation from the comic book. So it'll be interesting to see what, if anything, or if any following, storylines of where else Shrinking Ray will, come back up. Is she going to continue to be a part of the Guardians, or will this be something that's left her so traumatized that she's given up the superhero game? Because I mean, almost being eaten alive is something that is pretty traumatizing. I don't know if I'll be able to get my head back in the game after that.
Yeah, stomach acids are real. So, ooh.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with the character after that.
That's what I love, though. I love that they the slight deviation from the comic.
Yeah,
there's a deviation because again, if we were just telling the same story, you're like, oh, I know that story already. I don't need to relive it.
Right.
But if you have a deviation, like, oh, they're away from the source material. Where will they go?
And that keeps you watching because now you have no idea. Well, I say now, but for the people who read the comics before they started seeing the show, and I'm sure there's been other deviations from the comics in previous episodes, 100%. But it keeps you watching because you don't know where they're going to deviate. You don't know what they're going to change. So it's like, it's still, even though I understand what the overarching goal is, where they're going to eventually get to in the end, I don't know what else they're going to change along the way. I don't know what detours we're going to take before we get to that end point.
I'm excited to see.
Absolutely.
So the team comes back from space again, and they have to deal. And this is what I love about this show. We're not just gonna fast forward through to the next situation. We got to deal with the fact of what just happened. The
Right.
Guardians took a L. They duplicate died.
Mm-hmm.
The
Drinking
shrinking
Ray is
Ray is
critically injured.
critically injured. Rex died, and by miraculous turn of events, he's alive with the amount of blood that he lost. Not the fact that he got shot in the head, he got his hand ripped off, and his hand's been bleeding since he got bitten off.
Yeah.
I say bitten off, but the way he ripped it off, it's like he got bitten and ripped at the same time.
Right.
The blood loss from that, the blood loss from getting shot in the head,
And then the blood loss from just getting his ass beat all the whole while
and
before.
not even that. Just think about the adrenaline that was pumping through your body to come back and fight back. Oh my god! So I don't know how much vats of blood that he needed, but
Right. You know,
he
they probably
needed a
have some
transfusion.
artificial blood. They got that artificial blood from Michael Morbius.
Send it back. You don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that. It makes you do weird things. Like
Yeah, blue Capri Sun blood. You sip it
it
out of the
make
pouch.
it makes villains show up in your universe for no reason, and they don't know how they got there. Something to do with Spider-Man, I think. Either way, I guess you'll team up
Oh
because
god.
why? It's like, dude, I don't even know you.
It's like
But
because Morbius doesn't even know like we don't even know if he has a frame of reference of who Spider-Man is. We
at
know
all.
that we
Well,
know that
the
Spider-Man exists, but
the
as far
canon,
as
non-canon street graffiti.
right, that showed up in the trailer but not in the movie. But as far as the movie goes, we have no inclination that Spider-Man exists in this world. We have no reason to believe that Peter Parker is anywhere in New York. But
fuck,
we digress.
fuck you,
But
movie.
yeah, so
That's what I say about
but
that.
yeah, so we see the ramifications of the losses that the Guardians took. We see Immortal in the room with all of the body bags of all the different copies of
Horrible,
Duplicate.
horrible, horrible.
So
Some of those bodies could have been cremated.
that's about
I'm
to
just
ask a
saying. I
question.
mean, you got half here and halfway over there.
You got a
You don't
hand
have
over
that.
here. You
Yeah,
got
you
some
ain't got to
intestines
put.
over there. You
You got to
got
put all.
half of a skull over here.
So let me ask you this question. This is not the first time we've seen Duplicate get killed in battle. Who was getting all them bodies then? Did she duplicate herself to recover those pieces? And then who
I don't
got
know.
these?
I don't know.
Clearly, the government agents came in and cleaned up.
Yeah, GDA does something with them. I guess they incinerate them normally, but here's my question, and to not to be morbid or anything, but so they have a funeral for
Uh
Kate.
huh. Uh huh.
Which body did they bury?
Here's something that you're not gonna like, Sweater, because this gonna go against everything that y'all know. They put them all in one bag. They put them all. They put all the casket. If you go back and look at it, the casket not a normal size. It's a little bigger, like a
Oh, is it?
supersized casket.
I didn't notice that.
They put them all in that because why wouldn't you? You have to keep them all together.
Yeah.
It's the lower the casket, put the dirt on it. That is. But we do see that it affects Immortal differently. Now, keep in
Yeah.
mind, I love this. I love this fighter. Keep in mind, he is the Immortal. That's his name. He's the Immortal. He's lived countless lives over and over again. He's
Mm-hmm.
known countless women, probably
Falling
men,
in love with countless.
over and
Yeah,
over
falling in love
again.
with countless people.
With that haircut, I question if it's not. It's a very weird haircut. But for this situation, it hits him differently. And the reason that it hits him differently is the key word that he said. I thought we would have more time.
Right.
For somebody who can die but not die, they can duplicate themselves to a point that they can live for on forever. Even Duplicate said it in the episode when she was talking with Rex, telling them that we were never a couple. She explained to him, he's the only one that has died as many times that I've died. And he understand. They understood each other on that level. So when it hits that she's dead for good, it hits him different
Yeah.
because he's thinking that he's finally found someone that can avoid death like he can. So I can understand the reasoning behind how he's emotional. Because it's like, why would this guy be emotional? He's immortal. He's seen hundreds of people die throughout
Yeah.
time. But this one, just because he had the thought processes that I finally found someone that I won't lose, and he lost her.
Yeah.
Man, that's devastating. Has to be.
And
And he weren't isn't even there to do anything about it.
right.
He's
And I
come
think that
back to
that
it.
I think that probably hurts even more because you know he's got to be racking himself with guilt, and it's like
All
if
this
it
power.
if it wasn't for technically if it wasn't for Shapesmith, I mean it all really falls back to that because had he not took the place of the astronaut, the Sequids would have never taken control. You know, they wouldn't have had to leave to go deal with this situation, and the entire team could have went and dealt with the Lizard League.
This is true. But we don't
So,
trade lives.
right.
That's the superhero trope. We don't
but
trade lives.
but I
So when
love the
Shapeshifter
way
had to
that
die, we had to
they
save him.
framed it because you know he's talking to Black Samson, and so he's like, why am I so torn up about Kate? And the thing about it is that before they get into that conversation, they're like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it was a nice service. It's like it's a beautiful day. I'm glad it didn't rain. And then clear skies, but we see Immortal touch his face, and then he pulls his hand away, and then it's wet.
Mm.
And so it's like, wait, is it like? Cause you know how,
I'm emotional.
but you know, there's a trope that when a character says something, then of course the contrary happens because it's like, oh well, the good thing that it didn't rain today. Then you know the trope is then boom, lightning, then all of a
And
sudden it
it
starts to
rained.
rain,
Yeah.
and
Just like
so
when Rex said, how can we have two catastrophic events happen at the same
exactly.
time? Then you do.
Right. And that's a perfect way for them to set this up to kind of
Right.
subvert your expectations. And you're thinking he touches his face and you think he's about to look up to see that it's about to start raining, but it's not. He's actually crying. And so then
Raw
we get into the conversation that he
emotions.
asks, why is this affecting me so much? I've loved so many before and
Mm-hmm.
they were all lost to me and I was prepared for it because I knew that I was gonna outlive them. But like you said, it was the fact that this was so unexpected. He, like you say, he thought that he found someone that he could live a life with and have this, you
Mm.
know, complete understanding. Like you
Maybe
know what
some
it
little
means.
immortal duplicate babies.
That would.
Yes, yeah, so
So would that be the child that can create copies of themselves and they could never die?
correct. So you basically have a hive mind that's gonna probably just take over like Unity.
Right. Because you can make as many copies as you want and then
Yeah,
not just you know just create your own empire.
you're a god,
But you know, but yeah, so it's really hard on him, and he has to deal with that. And I
and
feel
that's what I love.
I
That's what I'm
I
saying.
feel like this episode because we got so much action
Mm-hmm.
in episode 5 because we got you know Mark coming back and then he having to deal with going back to space
Mm-hmm.
and then come back to go back to space again
Yeah, he
and
went to space 3 times.
And so we get the fight with the Lizard League, we get the fight with Sequids, and everything's high intensity. And we come back to Earth now, and it's so grounded in the senses as grounded as a superhero, you know, property can be. But it's not just, oh, the day is won, we succeeded, so now we can go, you know, ride off into the sunset and be happy. we have
Mm-hmm.
to now deal with the ramifications of everything that's happened. And so not only do the superheroes have to deal with, the losses from the Guardians, and Mark has to go back and he has to deal with, his failing relationship with Amber, because he's coming to the realization that this isn't fair to her, because every time we get together, something happens. I have to leave. Cecil's calling me. Seance dog is showing up.
This is true.
Something's happening. I have to
Yeah.
leave. I have to cut class. I have to miss school. I'm forcing you to have to lie to your friends, because
Yeah.
when he met her friends, the girl was like, "Oh, so he actually does exist,"
Yeah.
because she's telling them, "Oh, I have this boyfriend," but they never see him. He's never around. And
Well, she was gone for 2 months.
well, yeah, he was gone for 2 months. But I mean, I would imagine that she was friends with him before he left,
Apparently, he didn't come around.
because he was always doing something else.
But you
And
get the opposite side of that too, Spider. You get to see how Amber's her dealing with the fact that she doesn't want to be selfish
right,
because again, he's saving the world.
right.
Like I don't think we ever got that from the spouse or the bride or the girlfriend of a superhero. Like you didn't get that from Lois Lane.
Yeah, you didn't get that from Lois. You didn't get that from Mary Jane. They never really said, like, I feel neglected, but I'm not going to say anything because I know they're
The
being
greater
selfless
good,
and going
yeah.
out and saving people. And if I say, well, we didn't have a date night this week,
Right.
then I'm the
Remember, we were supposed to go to
asshole.
the movies, but you
Right.
had to just save that little baby from getting run over.
Right.
Like, wait, what?
Like, you really going to hold that against me?
Like, you were supposed to take me to Paris, but you just had to save us from an alien invasion. Like,
And
priorities?
I love the way that, because Mark went to go talk to Art, because he doesn't really have a father figure that he can go to about these things
Damn sure can't
anymore.
talk to Caesar, but
No, he
Caesar,
absolutely cannot
Caesar,
talk to Cecil. Cecil just tell
no.
him to suck it up and go to the next mission.
Cold, heartless dude.
And
Heartless.
surprisingly, Amber goes to Eve to talk to her about it.
Definitely a twist.
Like,
Didn't see
literally,
that one coming.
literally gets lost in the forest trying to find Eve's treehouse. And the parallels of them holding the conversation simultaneously, and the show going back and forth to them basically saying the exact same thing, but
Mm-hmm.
reversed for their part of it. Mark is like, I feel bad because Amber doesn't deserve this. She deserves to have somebody who's going to be there for her, be able to spend time with her, and not have to force her into these situations to where she has to lie and cover for me. And then, like you said, on the other hand, Amber is like, I want somebody that's going to be there for me. I want somebody that's not going to put me into these situations, but I know why. And again,
Hmm.
talking about the comparison between the comics and the show, in the
Mm-hmm.
comics, Amber didn't know that that Mark was invincible for the longest time. She ended up finding it out herself, whereas in the show, Mark ended up telling Amber that
Yeah.
he's invincible. And so we get the
Well, she's figured it out, she said. It's so funny that you said that because just today I was going to look and see if, there's some Invincible that I need to catch up on. And I just so happened to accidentally hit the episode when he came out and confessed. This is also the episode when Rudy had the twins make him his
his
body.
body.
Yeah, when they had all kind of traps and stuff in there. He's like, it looks great. Besides all of this stuff that you got added in here,
Right.
so take all that out and put this Neuralink in there, and
Right.
then we can talk.
But yeah, so, like, I mean, because she basically forced his hand. Like, if you are going to make this relationship work, then yes, it has to start from a place of honesty. So he couldn't just keep lying to her about it, especially when she already knew that something was up. So she was going to figure it out
Mm-hmm.
anyway. It's the whole, MCU Peter and MJ thing. You
Yeah,
know,
go get him, Tiger.
Zendaya knew. She was like, I know that something is up. It's like, look, you can either tell me, or I'm just gonna figure it out myself.
Pretty
And like
much.
she
She
told him
even
at the end of
called.
No Way Home, I figured it out once, I'll figure it out again.
It's gonna be so heartfelt when they come back together.
Yeah,
It
it
should
is.
it shouldn't be in the next movie though. It should
No,
be like two
it
movies. Let her
it should be a
let
one.
Zendaya do her Dune thing.
Not even
Let
that.
her,
She got a whole bunch of other movies. That you have you seen the trailer for that tennis movie that she got coming out? That looks like that's
yeah,
going to be an Oscar worthy type movie for her.
yeah. She looked like she's gonna just break some hearts in that one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But but yeah, so them having that conversation going, back and forth, talking about the same thing, and it's in the comics, their relationship becomes rocky because he waited so long for her to have to figure out that he was invincible instead of coming out and telling her. So of course, and we've seen this trope happen in many other shows where the trust is broken
Mm-hmm.
because you say that you care about me, you say that you love me, but clearly you don't care about me enough to be honest with me and tell me the truth. Because,
Mm.
and it always is, oh, well, I did it to protect you, because I have enemies and I don't want them to come after you. That's always the excuse and everything. But
I mean, it's true. Look at Sam Raimi Spider-Man 1. As soon as Green Goblin figure out who Peter is, the first thing he does is go
go
after
after
his
Mary Jane.
girlfriend.
Well, go after Aunt May and Mary Jane.
Yeah, Dr. Octavius went after Aunt May.
Well, he
So
didn't really go after her as much as he just took her hostage when they were in the bank.
this is true, but the Green Goblin is sinister.
Yeah, the Green Goblin is sinister.
It's like you got to make a choice. This is why you shouldn't be a hero because you got to make a choice: save the children or save your girlfriend. Like you ain't got nothing else to do.
Right. Like just it's literally so easy for a supervillain to just leave New York. Go somewhere else. Reign terror on another state that doesn't have a superhero that has to fight you every week.
This is why VOD exists, because that way of thinking right there. VOD's leasing out these heroes to other cities.
Because, I mean, you think about it, if Green Goblin was to go down to Florida, who's going to stop him?
Florida man.
You know what? That's cool. Let him go to somewhere, go to Wyoming or something. Go to somewhere in the Midwest. Go take over that state. Yeah, Florida man will stand up to the Green Goblin and defeat him handedly.
And win. Light work.
Catch it between bath salt sessions.
Ew, gross. So the fact that Immortal is dealing with this is big, and the fact that Mark and I just want to say Zazie Beats one time. Amber is dealing with this. Mm-hmm. They don't break up though.
No, they don't.
They don't, and it's like everything is telling them to break up.
Because both Art and Eve said, "Well, why are you here telling me this and not talking to them?"
Right.
It's like, because clearly you had this on your mind, and clearly
you're not in space now.
Right. And clearly you're conflicted about it, and you clearly seem like you don't want to break up. Like, even though you have all of these reservations and you're very, cautious about what's happening, you both are in the mindset of like, I love them. I don't want to break up with them, but I really feel like the situation that we're in is not fair. And this is after,
or it's gonna get any better.
Right. But this is after Mark talks to Rex, because he goes to the hospital to visit Rex, and this is after he and Amber had went out because they were out to eat, and they were like catching up on everything that was happening, and they were just kind of sitting there awkwardly. It's like, this feels like a first date, and it's like, yeah, a bad first date. And it's like they're so disconnected that they can't even really enjoy each other's company because they feel like they're forcing each other to talk about everything that's going on, and it's always, something that's dealing with Mark, with his dad, with saving the world, with all of this kind of stuff. And we see that Amber's grades are slipping. Mm-hmm. And Mark is like, you are, incredibly smart, and, and what happened. And we find out that her grandfather had passed. And I know that this probably kind of is what pushed Mark more into that direction, because you have someone you're in a relationship with and they have a family member that passes away, and you're not there to console them or at least to be there to offer any kind of comfort. And they
Mm.
have to deal with that, not necessarily on their own because, of course, they have family and, Amber has her friends and everything, but
Yeah, but she wants a boyfriend.
exactly. And so you miss out on something like that. And it's like, well, shit, what am I really doing? Right? What am I doing in this relationship? Because clearly I'm not being there. I'm not being a supportive partner for her.
Mm.
I'm not being there for her in the way that she needs me to be.
Mm.
And so when they leave the restaurant and Mark goes to go check on Rex, and we don't get them, we don't get that conversation. We see Rex asking Mark what's wrong, but we also see Mark notice that Rex has changed. Rex is like, yeah, I died and I realized that I
See
was a
your
piece of
perspective.
shit.
Yeah.
I was a real shit person and I really need to change my ways.
Total redemption arc.
Right.
It's like the old Rex is dead and gone.
Yes. That's
It,
that's who died. The old Rex died and a new Rex was reborn. Like a
I couldn't.
phoenix from the ashes.
Yeah. What? Red hair. You see what's happening right
There you
now.
go.
Metaphors.
But
Rex also is out of his goddamn mind.
he is out of his mind.
Yeah.
Well, is
Because,
he out of his mind or is it just letting
well,
his actual personality shine through?
the fact that he just dropped the knowledge, which I'm pretty sure Mark didn't say, hey, don't tell anybody this, but he lets it go to Eve that
Yeah.
him and Amber are no longer together.
Well, he
Which,
didn't say that they're not together. He just said Mark and Amber are, and he was like, "Well, what do you mean by that?" And he goes back to his interior design magazine, so he never really elaborates.
yeah, leave that man in his happy place. She knew not to push it. She knew not to push it. Hey, here's a question:
Yeah,
can Eve give him a new hand? She can control things to the atom.
right.
So
But if I recall correctly
she has to
from
focus on it.
the Invincible Adam Eve spin-off episode, movie, special presentation, whatever they want to
Yeah,
call
you
it,
should watch that if you're not sure about it. You
I
should watch that.
believe that they place some blocks within her to where she can't manipulate organic material.
You are absolutely right. But they should still watch it. Y'all should still watch it.
Yeah,
Y'all
go
should go
watch
back and
Invincible
watch
Adam
it.
Eve.
Yeah. So no, she can't give him a hand.
Yeah,
But
she
that
can
would have
make
been
him
cool.
a prosthetic hand.
That's not gonna work. You
No.
need it. You need it to be able to
Well, I
do
mean,
things.
like basically like what Donald is.
Oh, I'm pretty sure there's some type of tech they're gonna put on him. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Donald's a whole cyborg with a human brain.
Yeah,
So,
and even Mark said, I hear they're gonna even get you a new hand, so he's got one coming.
but will it be able to charge up and do the gambit thing, or
I'm pretty sure they probably manufacture some kind of abilities into it. They probably just make it into a gun or something.
that would be cool? Because if he had to punch people in the face again, you
I
need
mean, punching
something that's
people in the
gonna.
face with a metal hand is probably the same as
I
punching them
am
in the face with a bone.
so sure that the adrenaline was pumping. He didn't feel that at all. I
No.
felt it for him. I was sitting in the oh my god, oh you doing it again.
King Cobra has to be dead, right?
You never know.
I
You never
mean, you're
know.
getting
You
punched.
never
Well,
know.
King Lizard, I'm sorry. But he's
Lizard
getting
Cobra.
punched in the face with a sharp object. I'm like I said, it's like being punched with a knife.
But you got to remember, Cecil's here. Cecil is a game changer. Remember, we thought all of the androids were dead
Yeah.
when Mark's friend
Uh,
boyfriend was being experimented on. We found out that Cecil is actually making an army.
Rick.
Yeah, Rick Flag. I don't know why I want to
No,
say
it's not
Flag.
Rick
That's
Flag.
not
I don't think they ever said his last name.
got a goddamn Suicide Squad member running around here. But no, Cecil is making an army. Which again, this is why I love this show because if you really watch it from beginning to end, there's a lot of I wouldn't say drop storylines, but there's a lot of villains. Like if they continue to go on this route, like Invincible's gonna have a rogues go rogue.
Rose Gallery.
Thank you, because I couldn't put those words together to save my tongue. Of villains
Yeah.
that he's because we still got KGBs, we got
Titan.
Titan. I want to see his rematch with Titan. I really do. Then we got.
What was his name? Machine Head, I think, because he's not really dead. He's just out of the picture right now, right?
Thought he was dead, but I thought Titan killed him. But he may be back. He could come back.
Yeah.
Not to mention we got the dimension hopping aliens that are not dead. They're coming back.
Oh, the ones that
The ones trying to
got
stabilize their time.
old super quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have the
Fucking
Viltrumites
Viltrumites.
coming.
Yeah. The big
Oh my
bags.
god! And before that, but we still got the squiddy ones on Earth now.
Yeah, we find out that that's not even done.
Oh my god!
So
This deck is
here's the
not
thing that
stacked.
I'm
I don't
wondering:
know what you got.
can the Sequid that was inside of the
Repopulate?
astronaut, yeah, can he like make more?
I can't see how he couldn't make more,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, they didn't establish that he could make
Yeah.
more. The only reason I'm saying I can't see how he couldn't make more because there was like literally millions of them, and I don't think they just had millions of them on
On
Mars.
Mars. Yep, you're right. You're right. You're right.
So that's gonna be bad because
Yeah.
there's gonna be making them in the background, and they won't
Yes.
attack until they have the numbers.
Yes. And when they have the numbers, oh boy.
Well, the question is, can we get an EMP or some type of sonic cannon big enough to knock them all off? Because if you leave one on,
Yeah, you have to kill all of them, especially on Earth. You can't run the risk of any one of them surviving.
I didn't even know there was one in his stomach.
Nobody knew
You would
until
you
he
would
threw it
think
up.
you would think they would have did some type of testing and search and X-rays and but hey,
I don't know, man. Maybe.
if they're anything like octopus, because right, they kind of starfishy, octopusy like, right?
Yeah.
Then there's a potential they could have camouflaged themselves to look like inner organs. I mean, octopus are known to take on a chameleon trait when they're down there in the sand. They can look like their environment, so they
Yeah.
won't get eaten. So who's to say? Plus, they have 8 brains. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 brains.
And then I think the sequids are invertebrate. So it's not like if they took an x ray, they would show like any type of bone structure within his body or anything like that. And if
Yeah,
it was in his
which
stomach, they might have just like, oh, well, it looks like it's something that he ate.
yeah, we're screwed.
Yeah.
But we also got to talk about Alan.
Yeah. Alan comes into Earth's orbit while Caesar was talking to Immortal, and they get the alert, and Immortal's like, well, Caesar was telling Immortal, he's like, look, you need to take a vacation. There's
Yep,
this, what are you telling him, like mountains or an island or something like that where you could
yep.
go. He's like, take a break. And Immortal's like, no, I'm good. He's like, no, you're not good. It's like, you are really, it's not a good time for you right now. You need to just take a break. Like, we got this. Just go compose yourself. And of course, Immortal's not having it. But in the middle of the conversation, they get the alert that there's something in the Earth's coming towards
Atmosphere.
Earth.
Yeah.
And
The
so
motor immediately thinks it's only me. Like this could be nobody else.
like you literally just had to deal with a whole bunch of. I guess they really thought that the Sequids were done, but I mean, it could have been the Martians. The Martians could have been
It's
coming after
only
him.
me. It's gotta be him.
Takes off, and Alan is just out there. He's because he's trying to remember where Mark lives.
That is
He was
hilarious.
like, "Where did he say he
It
lived?"
makes so much sense though. Like, I've
Because
never
you're in
been
outer
here.
space and you don't really. Because I mean, he never in the season 2 promo trailer, they were on Earth eating.
Yeah, but that was just a promo
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, even if that was canon and Mark brought him down to Earth, I'm pretty sure he didn't like tell him exactly like
yeah, where his
the
house was.
latitude and longitude where he was going. And so, if you only been there once, you come back after being away for however long, you come back and
Right.
it's like, okay, well, where was he again? And
I
so
always say that. I always
he's
say I
really
gotta go to
just
police at
out
least
there in
3 times.
space, like just scratching his head, and then more comes and whacks the shit out.
No,
No, he
just
comes
it
in. Yeah, he comes in. They start to have a
comes in hot.
conversation, and so Alan is like, "Yo, I'm a friend. I know Mark. I want to fight you." And the Immortal's just like, "Ah, get out of my head!" just
Right?
enraged.
And the way they play it out is so crazy because we didn't think that Invincible would show up, but of course Cecil probably called Invincible right after because
Yeah,
clearly the way that the Immortal took off, he's on the comms with Invincible.
because I mean, Invincible's the only one that can go get him.
So when he shows up, he's like, "Hey, this is my friend. What are you doing?" And and Alan's communicating with Invincible. He's communicating with
He's
the
like,
Immortal, but they can't communicate with each
my
other.
ability only works between me and someone else, not two other someone else's. He's like, but he said, there's an update coming. I think they're gonna patch that.
That's hilarious. So it's like, tell him what I said. He's
Yeah,
like, I don't believe you. He
right.
don't
He said he doesn't
believe
believe. He was like, this guy's a big douchebag. You guys have that on Earth, right? Douchebag. I want to make sure that I'm using that term right. Then when he tell him, he said, and he also said he hates your beer because you have
Yeah.
all the worst parts of a beer. Well, you're missing the best parts
And
of
you're
a beer.
missing the
This
best part
part
like
right
this
here.
part right here. That is comedy,
Oh man!
man.
Shout out to Seth Rogen. He
Seth
delivered
did
those
that
lines
right.
just perfectly. You're missing
And
the
then
best parts of the beer. This part right here.
he was like, "Yeah, who? How did the situation start? Like you started hitting me first, and it's like you don't want to talk about that." But the Immortal was like, "I thought you were somebody else," and then kind of flies away.
Yeah, and I think he realizes that because he's not in the right emotional state, he let that rage take hold of him because
It's
he had
only
to.
man.
And then when he got there, he was like, "I'm the man sent you."
Yeah, like make it make sense, dude.
It's like,
Calm
dude,
down.
he's like, I'm not even. I don't have anything to do with Omni Man.
That's crazy.
And he was like, Alan was like, I don't want to fight you. And he was just kind of holding him to subdue him. And then he poked him in the eye. And Alan was like, all right, you know what? Get him fucked
Mm-hmm.
up. He was like,
Yeah,
now
that's
this is
personal.
personal.
Yeah, you know I got one eye. You can see it. You go poke me in it.
And then
That's
it's like
vicious.
when Mark gets there, it's like he's a child ratting on him. He's like, and he poked me in the eye.
You got to tell everything that happens, Spider. You can't be that far out.
Oh man. Oh, it's so
But
great.
after the fight doesn't happen, Mark takes him back to his because they want to talk, so they need somebody. They can't take him home. That's too
Right.
many aliens. You already got your brother there,
Mm-hmm.
so he takes him to his college campus.
And goes to his dorm room,
Go to his dorm
puts a
room. They
sock
put
on
a
the door.
top sock on the door so they know not to be interrupted. And Alan lets him know
He's like, on
where
my
I'm
planet,
from.
where I'm from, a sock on the door means that people are fucking.
Yeah,
And
they
Mark's
are.
like, yeah, that's the same thing here too.
Yeah, so I had to raise my eyebrow like that. I'm like, all right, Invincible, what's going on?
Look, and
But Alan sits on the
Alan's like,
bed.
look, I'm trying to get you to come fight with us. If this is what we gotta do, this is what we gotta do.
Planet of Coalitions need us to step up and do whatever it takes. But he sits on the bed and breaks it. That was
Yeah,
funny because it was animated weird. I thought it was funny. And even Invincible was like, "You're a lot bigger now
yeah,
than I've seen you last." Anyway, exposition. They go through these stories because he picked up the books
from art.
uh from Art Spider.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Alan scanned the books, has the knowledge. I don't trust it. Not Alan. I trust Alan. I don't trust who Alan's working for.
Are you don't trust status?
I don't trust Status. I don't trust Status at all. I just don't. And I feel like that's gonna bite the guys in the butt.
You think
I
he's
see a
setting
heel
Alan
turn.
up?
I think he's setting Alan up, and it'll all be revealed because you said it's not a spoiler if what we predict
Comes
comes
true.
true. So I think that's a double cross that's going to come down later on the line. Now, Invincible does come to the realization that inside of these stories that his dad has written are actual events that has happened. We learned about an alien species that's I forget their name, but they're so dense
Mm-hmm.
because the gravity is so heavy, they can actually kill Viltrumites. They can
Right.
penetrate their skin and
And they're super
whew,
strong.
they're incredibly strong. And I like that they had this aspect because again, we knew Omni Man has gone to planets, take over planets for the Viltrumites. But there are planets that have other species on it that they would encounter.
Mm-hmm.
And all planets aren't the same, so they have variations of planets. So again, if this can help in the Viltrumite War, because a war is coming,
Right.
we want to be able to utilize all aspects that we can. And we also learn about the space racer.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the name of the gun that he has?
The I forget.
We'll call it the long shotty. There's an incredibly long gun that it shoots, but it doesn't shoot wide. It only shoots straight.
Yes. And it just
So
keeps
you,
going.
but again, you have to be mindful about using this weapon because, like you said, it keeps going. We've seen that it eliminated the target, but it also blew up a planet.
Yeah.
God damn. What type of gunpowder is you got a Death Star in the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
So that's real. And I think we'll probably see Alan go on the hunt for these artifacts or these. Well, you can't get the gun because if it ever leaves the racer's hand, he can call it back before it's ever even used.
Right.
But as far as the aliens that can bite through Viltrumites, I would just say get you a nice little teleporter. So when they come, you can teleport them right to that planet and deal with those. That's what I would do. I wouldn't go there myself and try to bring them things anywhere near Earth.
The Infinity Ray. That's what it's called.
The Infinity, awesome Ray. So the few episodes that we have left, somewhere along the line, we're gonna have to start to hunt for these things. If not, why would we tease them? We don't know what else is in the books because Mark hasn't dove into the rest of them. In fact, I don't think he read all of them.
I mean, it
I
was
think
really
he
just
just
those
kind of.
two that he talked about.
But at the
But I
same
think it was
time,
what, four of them that Alan scanned?
I think he scanned all of them
But
because
I'm saying
he
I
was.
think it was four books. Was it four or five? I know it was a stack of them,
There's a stack of them. I know that. I
but I
think it
don't know
was
how many
had
it
to be
was. I think it
five.
was like
I'm
it was
not
either
sure,
four or five.
I
But
don't
yes.
trust him. I don't trust him. I think we're looking at a double cross coming up, and only time will tell.
Well, I mean, we already thought that we double crossed him when we saw him turn off his life support. And then turns out that he did it because he wanted him to come back stronger. But he
Hmm.
gambled on his life because he didn't know if it was really going to work or not.
And he apologized and confessed to it. So
He
there
did.
shouldn't be a reason that I don't trust him. But any man that can rip his beard off
I
just
mean, he's
makes
a
you
Viltrumite, so, he's
just,
strong.
just just take your whole beard and rip that thing off and just like not bleed. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't trust you.
Yeah. But then, we got our C plot and our D plot because um Debbie is now, Debbie is now given Mark's brother a name. He named him Oliver after Mark's grandfather.
That's right.
And of course, Debbie has to go back to work, but she has to find somebody to watch Oliver. And she doesn't want Cecil to get involved because she doesn't
Nope.
want
She
Oliver
don't
to
trust him.
be in a lab or,
Yeah.
be treated like some kind of science experiment. So she's looking for a nanny. And she's interviewing people, and this little old Mary Poppins looking woman
Yeah,
comes
she is.
in, and so she's reading her resume, and Debbie like on top of it. She's like, I know Cecil sent you, and I don't care
But
for it.
did he?
So
But did he though?
I that we don't know if he did, but
We don't
she's
know.
extremely skeptical, and
And that's
she thinks
enough.
that he did. But
She's a mother.
and so we get the next babysitter or nanny candidate that comes in, And she's like, look, before we even begin, I want to let you know Cecil sent me, but you know, I have this experience, this experience, this
Mm-hmm.
experience. I am
Mm-hmm.
one of
Mm-hmm.
very few people that is qualified to work with alien children.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to let you know up front so that we're going to be completely honest. So Debbie's like, okay, well, at least you're being upfront. So let's
Mm-hmm.
talk. And through their conversation, they come to the agreement where she says that, look, I don't work for Cecil. I work for you. And it's like, you're my boss. I don't have to report anything back to Cecil. I am here to help take care of Oliver.
I
And the
don't.
way that she was saying that, about what she does as far as like nurturing and then corrective behavior while Oliver's like reaching for scissors.
Scissors, yeah,
And she
right.
just kindly takes them
That's
away from him and gives him, I don't know, some kind of toy or whatever.
I don't know, but that just lets me know that she didn't baby proof that house at all.
No, absolutely not. Well, I mean, you think about when the last time Debbie had to baby proof the house.
When Mark was a baby,
Yeah,
and he's clearly in the college years now, so it's a long time ago.
right.
But I don't trust her either. I don't trust her.
I mean,
I
anybody
think
that
she's gonna be
anybody
reporting
that
back to
Cecil
Cecil.
sends, yeah, anybody that Cecil sends is hard to just be like, okay, well, you're cool. Just because you come on and you say, I'm being honest with you, I'm being upfront with you, there's always some underlying
Of
thing. We're going to get
course,
some kind
you're
of,
you're bringing in baby Oliver poops. It starts with the poops because if you take the diaper, you don't care about the diaper, right?
right.
You're just a dirty diaper. But we're analyzing how his enzymes work. I mean, even Mark
Well,
says
yeah,
that she
we
has to chew the
have to chew the
food.
food because Thraxons don't have the enzymes to break the food down.
Yeah, and that's not going to be permanent because he says we're hoping that his Viltrumite side kicks in. But you're tracking this. I know
Right.
you are, Cecil. You're tracking this. You want to know what color blood he had. Like Cecil is not the guy that's just not going to get the information that he
No,
wants.
he absolutely is
Some
gonna.
type of way he's going to get it.
Yes.
He can summon demons from hell. So
Well, I
clearly he
mean, it's just
uses
the
that as
one.
the one that you know about.
Also very true.
Ah, Cecil. I ain't talking about Planet of the Apes. We talking about this a whole. I don't understand
No,
why
that
you
was
don't.
Caesar.
They're cousins.
But and then the other thing we have Rick is now back at school. Donald brought him back because Donald, I would imagine, is taking some, a bit of an interest with Rick because Rick is pretty much going through the same thing that Donald is not
They're
realizing that he's going
twinsies.
through. Yeah. They
they're
are basically human android combination type thing. So Donald is like, look, Rick, whatever you need, I'm here for you. And Rick and William are going around campus and they come up to the fountain, which were in honor of D.A. Sinclair's victims, all those people that he abducted and everything. And Rick just kind of has sort of an existential breakdown and is like, I don't remember things. It's like, who am I if I don't have my memories? It's like,
mm,
what am I like? I don't know who I am. I don't know like what my purpose is. I don't
mm.
know like, am I even human anymore? What am I like? What am I supposed to do with myself? And it's very touching for William to be there for Rick in that way because I mean I don't really think that Rick really has anybody else that he could turn to.
With trauma like that, no. And then he's not even aware of his reality. And no, he was experimented on. The PTSD, man, I couldn't even imagine
Yeah,
uh trying to return back to life after something so traumatic like that. I mean, all this stuff was going against his will. So he
right.
literally turned into a weapon. And now you just like, oh yeah, that happened. You'll remember some of it, you won't remember all of it, but
Mm-hmm.
good luck. Go put you right back in school, right back in college. Good luck. Put you right back where you was.
Yeah,
Maybe a little money in your pocket, but yeah, there you go. Return back to your old life.
right. And of course, nothing is ever going to be the same.
Of course not.
But
In the world of Invincible, nothing ever is gonna be the same. You could bet your sweet ass on that. Yes, dramatic pause.
So just one question I'm trying to remember. Do we get an explanation as to why Eve goes back to her treehouse? Oh,
Uh,
I think I remember. Or was it at the treehouse? I remember. I think was it at the GDA headquarters that Cecil had the conversation with her, saying
no, it's
that
at a treehouse.
that was at her treehouse.
It's at a treehouse. When he
Okay,
left, he said, "Enjoy your company," and that's when Amber
right,
shows
and
up.
that's when Amber showed up. Yeah, so I
But
so what brought her to go back there?
who wants to live with their parents?
I mean, she had been doing it up until Rex showed up and she went to Mars.
But she was doing it because she was in a low place after the collapse of the playground that she built for the family in the upstate New York or wherever they are.
And the fight that she
Remember,
had with Kill Cannon on the bridge, I think that's what really set her over.
yeah. So she's been home, kind of recomposing herself and really kind of buying into her parents saying that you shouldn't be heroing, like you're not worthy, you suck, la la la. And she just kind of internally processed that and was trying to be around people that loved her,
Yeah,
but what she identified as love. But after the conversation with Rex, she kind of started to get back on her own, and but not fully, because
you're right.
again, she's not ready to join the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, she's like, if you need me, I'm here. Which is the same thing Invincible says to Alan when the fight starts.
Mm-hmm.
Call me,
Yeah,
I'll
I
be
will be
there.
there. He's like, look,
Because
I just got back from space twice. I'm not about to go back with you. So,
three times if you count going to the upper atmosphere when he went to talk to Alan, and
true.
yeah,
Very true. But he's like, look, you can scan the books, take that information, do whatever you need to do with it. But when it comes down to it and the war starts and you need help, let me know and I'll be there.
yeah. And I think that's just the stance you're taking with, again, Invincible, the show itself does a great job at balancing the superhero life with your regular life, which
Yeah.
is the thing that people love about Spider-Man because he's not a billionaire playboy philanthropist.
Mm-hmm.
He's a super smart kid that struggled with paying rent. Like these are real things. Like he
Right.
struggles with a job, like he struggles in his relationship.
Mm-hmm.
He don't switch women every 2 weeks like a Tony Stark, or he's not devoted like a monk, like a Bruce Wayne. He doesn't have that family like a Reed Richards. Like he has his own struggles that he's trying to get through. Mark has the same thing. Like my dad, in a sense, is evil Superman.
Yeah.
And I'm his son. Though he was looked at as probably one of the greatest heroes of all time, you are now left a stain on a planet that I love, this is my home. Why would I leave?
Right.
And I gotta live in the fact that you almost destroyed the planet. And so, even though I'm looked at, they really haven't dove into the public perception of what Invincible is now. But as you can see, he's trying to do his best
Yeah.
to distance himself from the stain that his father has left. That's hard.
It is.
Not to mention he's struggling with his girlfriend. Not to mention his work life balance is all the way off.
Mm-hmm.
And then his friends damn near died. Shrinking Ray is alive, yes, but she's injured. Rex is alive, but he's injured. Duplicate is dead from what
Yep.
we know as of right now. And what? And you still got villains coming for your neck.
Yep.
And the Viltrumites are coming. They do a perfect job at stacking the deck. This is why I love this show.
To say that
Because
we
you're
only
like, how the hell
have
he gonna get out of this
right,
situation?
and to say that we only have 2 episodes left, it's just like there's got to be some type of conclusion to something for us to be able to leave off this season to start off the next season. Like there's something's got to get wrapped up. Like we ended off the first season with, of course, the revelation of who Omni Man actually is, what
Yes.
the Viltrumites explanation
Yes.
is, and we get the climax of Mark and Nolan fighting, and Nolan basically beating Mark to a pulp but can't bring himself to finish the job because, of course, of this newfound compassion that he's learned from humanity. Because
Mm-hmm.
as infuriated as Nolan was, it's like, 500 years will pass and everyone you know will be dead. And what will you have left after all of that? And Mark, through blood and pain and rasped breath, he says, "You, I would still have you, my dad." And Omni Man can't process that because he's like, I just beat the hell out of you, but yet you still have love and compassion for me. And so
Mm.
he flies off. And so even though we don't get sort of a finite conclusion, we do have somewhat of a sort of a final place of where we are in this relationship. Like we have some type of stopping point. Like I don't want to call it closure, but it is a bit of a stopping point. So I'm just wondering, what is this season's stopping point going to be? Like, because right now we kind of it's the same thing with the rapidly aging aliens. Like we got rid of
Mm-hmm.
them, we pushed them back to their dimension. We know they're going to come back, but as of right now, that chapter is kind of closed off. Like with the Sequids right now, we know that there's a Sequid in on Earth
Earth.
right now, but like you said, they're not going to do anything until they build their numbers up to where they can launch a full scale invasion. So as of right
I feel like
now,
that's the same thing that's happening with Titan, though. I feel like he's
yeah, he
building a street team.
right. So as of right now, that chapter is closed off. The Sequits chapter is closed off. We see that Angstrom Levy is now resurfacing. So is the last two episodes going to be focused on him, and then we're going to close that chapter off at a stopping point. So maybe not that he's going to be defeated by the end of the season, but we'll get to a place to where we've separated ourselves enough to where that part of the story it's a stopping point at the end of the season.
In story structures, Spider, what they always do before the second or the last or the final episode, they normally do a flashback of some sort. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next episode wasn't a forward episode, but more of a flashback episode, or even like a spinoff, like they did with Alan's story.
Mm. Do you think
So
that we get
we
the?
could get an introduction to a whole new character.
I hope not. I hope not. I was thinking
Uh
that, like we were saying earlier, with Angstrom Levy rounding up, or preparing to go after Invincible again. Maybe that's the second to last episode that we get. We get to see what Angstrom Levy's been up to all this time.
there's a strong possibility that could set the precedent for part three, but at season three. But at the same time, if you're not coming in the season three with that being the results, you're gonna be wondering what's going on. I will say this because they twisted it with season two, where they started it off in a different dimension. They could
Yeah,
end it off in a different dimension, so there'll be a nice bookend. But at the same time, when season three starts, are you going to pick back up in that same dimension, or are we going to get a different? Maybe we'll find out what Titan's up to, or maybe we'll find out what KG is up to. That's what I love about this series, that they can go anywhere.
right.
They did such a good job at setting up these foundational structures. They could pivot at any point in time. The Adam Eve episode or spinoff was a great example of that. The
Mm-hmm.
Allen spinoff, which is in the show but
Yeah,
outside of the show, is a great episode of that. And then you have all of these villains that you can pivot to, and you gave yourself a nice sandbox to play in. So let's play. Let's see.
it is. So we will see what happens in the final two episodes of season 2 of Invincible. And now I'm right there with you.
Invincible.
It's I hate it. Because like you said, it took so long for us to get here, and then in the blink of an eye, it's almost already done.
Back in the days when they had 24 episodes, but nowadays it seems like they only got six again.
But
What do
we'll
we got?
see
Eight?
yeah, we got 8. So we'll see what
Oh,
happens in these final 2 episodes of Invincible season 2. But let us know what you thought about episode 6 of season 2 of Invincible. And let us know what you thought about this episode. And remember, if you liked it, go ahead, hit the like button,
Or if
subscribe
you
to the
didn't like
channel.
it, don't keep it to yourself. How about that? Keep it to yourself. Don't tell
So
nobody.
subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to follow us on social media, just click the link in the description below.
Leave comments. We love to engage with you guys. And if you don't leave comments, just know when I say leave comments, I'm talking to you.
Yeah. You.
Right there. You saw that hand? You saw that finger? You saw that? Coming to you in 3D.
When? Never mind. That's a tangent.
No. Say it, and then we'll leave.
No, because it just the rapid succession of thoughts that I just had in my brain just made it like thought, conclusion. Because you said 3D, I was like, when are we going to get 3D webcams? And I was like, that's not necessarily a thing that needs to be had, because they tried with 3D TVs and they didn't really sell, because you also had to have the 3D glasses in order to watch them. And if you have a 3D webcam, it doesn't really make sense, because if you're having a video conference with somebody who doesn't have 3D glasses, then that's not really going to really do anything. So it was a, nonsense idea to have in the first place.
I don't think it was a nonsense idea. I think what happened is you stopped your idea because you thought it was nonsense, and you need to elaborate on it a lot more. So instead of having 3D, you just have one of those interactive environment type of cams.
Like a AR type thing?
Yes. It's like if I can make a tesseract right here.
That's a throwback. We haven't brought that up in a minute.
I just will make one right there. So just hold your hand up, and there's a tesseract right there. But until that's made, we'll see.
We're stuck with what we got, but we make do with what's available to us,
because we're all things super.
But thank you guys so much for joining us this week. We appreciate all the love, all the support, all the views, all the listens, all the downloads, everything. We will see you all in the next episode. But remember, until then,
there it is.
Keep being super.